Hey everyone, it's that Math Magician, and on this video we're going to continue our discussion on problem 108, and we're going to move on to part C. So part C says, Nick decides that he needs a shortcut strategy for organizing this problem, otherwise he's going to be up all night. So he starts by asking himself, how many decisions about the digits do I need to make? And it says with your team, let's discuss his first question, then answer his next question, which says, how many choices do I have for each decision, for each digit? Now I want us to look back up here where I kind of drew out all of the 4 spaces for each digit of this 4-digit number. I want you to think about, for this first digit here, how many options does he have for this digit? Right? How many numbers, or what pool of numbers can he choose from for this first number here? Okay, now knowing that the numbers have to be between 1 through 7. So if my numbers have to be 1 through 7, and I'm looking here at this first spot, I know that there are going to be 7 spots here. Right? There's 7 different decisions I could make. I could choose to make it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Right? Those are my only options. So I have 7 different options for this digit. Then I want you to jump to the second number, and I want you to think about that digit. And I want you to think the same question, right? How many decisions can I make for this number? And hopefully we're starting to realize that it's the exact same number that I wrote here. It's also going to be a 7, because for this digit, I'm still choosing the numbers between 1 through 7, and I'm allowing the numbers to repeat, right? So since I chose a number here, maybe I chose a 6 the first time, I can still choose a 6 here. So all those 7 options are still available for me. Okay, those numbers are still available for me. Now, the third and the fourth, hopefully we've guessed and figured it out. And for each of these, I'm going to end up with 7 different outcomes for each number. Okay, I'm not losing or gaining any numbers I can pick. So I only end up with 7 different outcomes for each digit. Okay, that kind of answers part C. Now part D says, let's go back and think about our tree diagram. And our tree diagram, it says, how many branch points will this tree have? Really, it's saying how many branches are at each point. So this is our first number, right? Those are the options for our first number. How many options are there? Well, there are 7. Right? Very similar to what we just came up with over here. There are 7 there. Now, after I choose one of these numbers, how many branches go off of this branch point? And if I look at 1, I see that after I chose number 1, I again had 7 different options to choose from. Same thing down here. If I had chosen a 7, I would have had 7 numbers to choose from there. Or if I had chosen a 6, a 5, a 4. Remember, I didn't draw all of these out because that would be a pain in the butt to do. We don't want to draw out all of those markings. Okay, and then let's take this one step further. This was the second digit. When I go to the third digit, I also end up with 7 different options. And hopefully you can guess and figure out that when I get to whatever number this was, and I branch off of there with my 7 different options, I have, again, another 7. So at each branch point, we have 7 different numbers to choose from. Okay, we have 7 different numbers to choose from. So I want to now jump to part E of the question. And what part E talks about is this thing that we call a decision chart. Oops, a decision chart. And it says that we want to create a decision chart to help us understand how many 4-digit numbers are there. And we actually created a decision chart all the way back up here with this diagram right here. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that back down here because this is a decision chart. So go ahead and draw out your 4 spots. This is part E. Okay, so for our decision chart, we have 4 different options, where this is my first digit, This is my second digit. This is my third digit. And this is my fourth digit. Now what we write here, which we already did up there, but we're going to copy it back down, is what we write here is what are the possible number of choices I have for my first digit. And like we've discovered with our tree diagram, is that the first digit, it had 7 options. The second number also had 7 options. And when we go to our third and fourth digit, we still have 7 different numbers to choose from. Now I need you to think for a second. We have all these 7s, 4 7s. What do you think I should do with those numbers? Take a second to think. Should we add them? Should we subtract them, divide them, multiply them? In order to figure out how many different options we're gonna have, right? What is the different possible outcomes of a 4-digit number? We wanna take the choices of each digit and we just want to multiply those 4 numbers. So we end up with 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, which is the same thing as 7 to the 4th power. So go ahead and get your calculator and type in 7 to the 4th power, or 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, and we end up getting 2401. That means that there are 2,401 different 4-digit combinations that we can make. Okay, it's kind of a crazy amount of numbers. And I want you to think about this number that we just found. That means when we were making our tree diagram here, we would have had over 2,401 branches that we would have needed to draw in order to have a complete tree diagram. Back in here in letter A, when we were making our list, that means we would have had to have listed out 2,401 different numbers. That is why we don't want to stick with our old methods that we were used to. We don't want to write out lists. We don't want to go ahead and make out a tree diagram. Instead, what we want to do is we want to do this new type of tool, this new method that we call a decision chart, which just helps you realize what the different possible outcomes are for each digit and how we can use those numbers to figure out how many options there are in total. Now, last but not least, we got to answer number F. Look at me. We have to answer letter F. And letter F, remember, it was this question that we asked all the way at the beginning, which said, what's the probability of us selecting this number, 2,763? Well, the probability of us getting 2,763 would be 1 out of, you guessed it, 2,401. That is the possibility of pulling that one number out, because that number isn't going to repeat, right? It's only itself. And out of the 2,401 possible combinations, there's only one of them that looks like this. All right, guys, I hope that helped explain what problem 108 is all about. And in the next video, you're going to see me talk about problem 109, where we do even a deeper dive into these problems.